Welcome to today's Explainer. I am so thrilled you're joining us because today we're taking some seriously powerful advanced SEO concepts and dragging them out of the textbook straight into a practical, real-world case study. If you've ever felt like search engine optimization is just this messy collection of guessing games, well, get ready. We're going to break down a highly logical framework that search engines and, modern AI tools absolutely love. Okay, let's dive into this roadmap. First up, we've got the fundamentals of SEO. Second, we'll look at relevance versus authority. Third is search intent stacking. And finally, we'll see stacking in action. All right, Section 1, the fundamentals of SEO, building a lifelong skill. Now, as SEO expert Rambabu Thapa points out in his training, SEO is a holistic process. It's not just a quick hack or some flavor of the month trick. So when we're mapping out our high-level strategy, we really have to ask ourselves a fundamental question. Are we actually optimizing the search engine itself? Like, can you or I literally go into Google's backend, mess with the code, and just force our website to the #1 spot? Actually, scratch that. The answer is obviously no. The training from WeScoop Tech hits the nail on the head here. Search engines are incredibly complex, highly secure systems. You do not optimize Google. You optimize your own website to make the absolute best use of that engine. Just as a quick refresher, think about it like this. If you sell designer dresses in Delhi, your goal isn't to trick the algorithm. Your goal is simply to structure your site so perfectly that when someone types in designer dresses in Delhi, the engine naturally goes, aha, this is the absolute best, most relevant answer to show them. Moving right along to Section 2, relevance versus authority, micro versus macro SEO. And this brilliantly illustrates how search engines evaluate our content. We really have to look at both the micro and the macro levels here. On the left, we've got topical relevance, which is measured page by page. It's all about how perfectly a single page matches a specific query. But on the right, we have topical authority. That's measured across your entire website as a giant web of trusted content. I love this analogy. Think of topical relevance like absolutely crushing a single job interview. You nail the specific questions they asked that day. But topical authority, that is your lifelong professional reputation. So let's zoom in on relevance for a second. Relevance is super contextual. It's basically answering one immediate question. Does this specific page satisfy this specific search? Say someone Googles how to fix a leaky faucet. A highly relevant page is going to explain the fix, maybe mention specific parts like O-rings and shutoff valves, and answer obvious follow-up questions. And because this is graded at the page level, it can get you really fast results. Honestly, even a brand new website can rank quickly for a long-tail query, as long as that one specific page perfectly matches exactly what the searcher is looking for. But, as search keeps evolving, especially now, relevance alone just doesn't always cut it. You absolutely need topical authority. And that requires building out an interlinked content cluster over time. We're not just talking about one lucky article on espresso machines. We're talking about 50 interlinked articles covering grinders, water hardness, maintenance, the whole shebang. This entire site-wide network acts like a shield that protects your rankings when those massive core algorithm updates roll out. And here's the real kicker. This is exactly what AI search engines like ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Google's AI overviews are hunting for. They want to cite domains that are trusted across a broad subject, not just a one-hit wonder. Which brings us to Section 3, search intent stacking. One page, multiple intents. Okay, so we know we need page-level relevance to match the query and site-level authority to earn trust, right? Well, to bridge that gap, we use this amazing strategy called search intent stacking. First, we've got to understand the 4 main lanes of search intent. You've got informational, that's when someone wants to learn, searching how or what is. Commercial investigation is for comparing options like best or versus. Transactional is when they're ready to pull the trigger and buy, searching price or higher. And navigational is just looking for a specific brand. But here's the thing, human behavior almost never stays in just one lane. If someone is researching a software platform, they're asking an informational question, but in the back of their mind, they're already wondering, okay, but how much does this cost? Which is totally transactional. If your page only answers that first question, they're going to bounce right back to Google for the rest. So the crucial point is how you actually deliver these stacked answers. And for that, you have to use the bluff method, bottom line up front. When you're building a multi-intent page, you literally must answer the core question directly in the first 2 to 3 sentences of any section. Don't build up to it, don't write a novel, just give them the answer immediately. This specific formatting is exactly what AI summarizers and generative search engines are scanning for when they build those quick summary cards you see at the very top of the search results. But listen, you can't just throw all these different answers into a blender and hope for the best. A properly stacked page keeps these intents in clearly defined zones. Step 1 is your informational anchor right at the top, clearly defining the core topic. Step 2 is your commercial investigation section in the middle. This is where you drop in comparison tables or pros and cons. And step 3 is your transactional finish at the bottom, hitting them with a price summary and a really clear call to action. Sticking to this distinct step-by-step structure satisfies the reader's evolving curiosity without turning your page into a total confusing mess. Let's move to section 4 and see how this builds. Stacking in action. The flooring in Nepal case study. Let's take this abstract theory and apply it to something real, using a comprehensive guide on choosing flooring in Nepal. The page kicks off by anchoring the reader with pure informational content. So a user searches, what is SPC flooring? The page hits them immediately using that bluff method we talked about. SPC stands for Stone Polymer Composite. It's a rigid core flooring made from limestone powder and PVC, which makes it super dense and 100% waterproof. It quickly explains the click-lock system and the different layers. Boom. The user's informational intent is completely satisfied right there at the top of the page. Now, what's really interesting about this next part is how seamlessly the page transitions into the commercial investigation layer. The user now knows what SPC is, so their brain naturally goes, okay, but how does this compare to my other options? And the page delivers a crystal clear comparison table. It breaks down how SPC's waterproof stone core is absolutely perfect for Kathmandu's humid monsoons, while laminate might be cheaper, but it's super vulnerable to water. It weighs SPC's durability against gorgeous natural parquet wood, which, yeah, can last 50 years, but it's expensive and hates standing water. And it even compares it to standard vinyl, which is super budget-friendly but tears easily. The reader gets to actively weigh all their options without ever clicking away from the page. All right, so having learned what the flooring actually is and having compared all the alternatives, the reader's intent naturally shifts to transactional mode, and the page anticipates this perfectly. The final layer dives into pricing drivers, things like wear layer thickness and import duties. It covers installation costs, pointing out how SBC's click-lock system keeps labor super cheap compared to, say, gluing down parquet. Finally, it drops a highly relevant call to action, a direct prompt to consult flooringinnepal.com for a quote. It naturally, effortlessly guided the user from, what even is this, to which one is best for me, right down to, okay, how do I actually buy it? I mean, just think about the alternative for a second. If this business had built 3 separate, thin pages, like one just defining SPC, another one comparing floors, and a third one with pricing, they'd be risking some serious keyword cannibalization. Their own pages would literally be competing against each other in the search results. Plus, users would be bouncing around from page to page and, let's be honest, probably just abandon the site entirely. But by building one beautifully stacked page, they signal massive topical authority to search engines and AI tools, all while creating this completely frictionless, high-converting journey for the reader. Which leaves us with one final, absolutely critical question for you to think about regarding your own projects. Look at the content you're putting out there today. Are you just building thin, isolated pages that answer one single question and then send users packing? Or are you building authoritative, intent-stacked pages that really capture the reader, satisfy every single question they have, and smoothly guide them to a decision? Take some time to audit your own content, apply these frameworks, and just keep experimenting. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Now go out there and build some truly authoritative content.